More weird things found in my Football Manager saves, and today's is an absolute banger. Now, this save file was actually sent to me by Stewie, so thank you very much for that, because without that, we wouldn't have this. Arsenal, 20th in the league, struggling, except this is the Championship. Yeah. What year, you might ask? Well, it's 2037, but that still isn't exactly eons into the future, let's be honest. It's only 14 seasons in, so I suspect you're probably wondering how on earth this has happened. Let's find out. Well, the 12-point deduction for going into administration would certainly be a factor in that, but how did that come about? So using a piece of third-party software, I was able to see that Arsenal's debts had been climbing and climbing and climbing over the past several years until it reached a breaking point. However, that wasn't the only factor, but if we roll it back to 2 years ago, Arsenal finished the season in appalling fashion, taking just 11 points from their last 13 games with only 3 wins in there. This catastrophic end of the season caused them to finish 6th in the league and actually sacrifice that last Champions League spot to Bournemouth and also to Stewie's side, Tranmere. But for a club in debt, Champions League money is pretty damn important. This is still Arteta, by the way, in charge. That's some of key players leave, like Bukayo Saka and also William Saliba, and they simply don't replace them. Despite winning that opening game of the following season, the start is nearly as bad as they finished last year, just taking 8 points from their first 11 league matches, and in the end, Arteta is sacked. Abel Ferreira takes over the job in mid-December, has a horrible start, but does actually win 3 games in a row. They then go on an 8-game winless run, which pulls them back down into the mire again. They grab 10 points from the last 6 games, but it didn't matter, because insanely, they get relegated. 18th in the league, 34 points. It's the 82 goals conceded. They just were shipping. They conceded 8 goals to Leeds this season. Not in one game, but still. Naturally, Ferreira was sacked, and at this point, I'll show you on screen now with the third-party software, they were over £500 million negative in the bank balance at this point, and that doesn't exclude any outstanding debts as well. That combined with relegation meant there was no other choice, but administrators had to come into the club, and that meant this. They were forced to sell £227 million worth of players. Now, some of this happened before the administrators came in, but it didn't really make any difference. But what it did mean is that because of the time the administrators were there, they could basically sign no one in the summer transfer window either. So everybody leaves, nobody comes in. And that is what led to them being in this absolute mess of a season. Even if they had their points back, though, they'd still only be a mid-table side, nowhere near the playoffs. Genuinely one of the maddest things I've seen in an FM save. So what is the biggest fall from grace you've seen in one of your FM saves? If you want to send me any save files, head over to the Discord.